Hey folks, welcome back to Real Estate Investing Unmasked. Today, I'm kind of gonna take it to Peter Mallouk. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. So Peter is on CNBC, and he's on a show called Make It. I saw this YouTube video that Peter was in where he was saying that a lot of people say that buying a house is a great investment, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Excuse me? It could not be further from the truth? No. Let's take a look at these numbers. All right, Peter on CNBC, you said, let's say that you have the ability to rent a house in Brooklyn for $2,500 a month. Or you could buy a property for $4,000 to $5,000 and then make the assumption that you're going to buy the property that's $5,000 a month. He said what really would be a good investment is staying in the rental, keeping that $2,500 difference between the $5,000 mortgage and the $2,500 rent, and investing that into a mutual fund or something similar, an investment vehicle, $2,500 a month, and do that for 10 to 20 years. And then you have a whole lot more money than if you bought this property and paid $5,000 a month for the property after 10 to 20 years. It's not exactly apples and oranges there, buddy. So if I'm in the majority of the United States, where I can buy a property, my mortgage is going to be lower than what I'm paying in rent. For the majority of the United States, there are some places like where I live in a place where I got $1 million homes around me, right? $1 million home is going to pay $6,000 a month. It'll rent out for $3,500 a month. That's not everywhere in America. I can go to some places in America where I can buy a property for $120,000, $150,000, where my mortgage payment is about $1,200 a month, and to rent there it'd be somewhere like $900 a month. So you're telling me if I put $300 a month toward a mutual fund, it's going to be that much bigger than if I had just rented for $900. If I rented for $900 versus paying $1,200 for my own house, I don't think so. Granted, it will grow, and it will be a sizable sum. Compound interest, yeah, absolutely. But over 10 to 20 years, you're going to hit at least one recession, if not two, statistically speaking. Usually about every 18 years, from what I've seen, the markets have crashed. At least the real estate markets have. And usually about 8 years or so, you have a stock market crash. Now, it is possible through a mutual fund that does what they do, and they're really good at it, they can take advantage of that crash and actually make a really good return. No doubt about it. Here's the thing. You got to live somewhere. Based on the rule of 72, your money's going to double, depending on what the interest rate is. Average return on real estate is somewhere around 6% per year. The S&P is closer to 11% if I remember my numbers correctly. So is it double? Yeah, it's higher. But couldn't be further from the truth? No, it's not further from the truth. You know what would be worse investment than buying a house? Is putting all of your money into a savings account that gets you 0.25% interest. Or putting all of your money into a bond that gets you 1% interest. That would be further than buying a house and getting 6% return on your money. Here's the other thing. When inflation comes along and inflation is 3%, and you put money into a savings account that gets you 0.25%, you're actually losing money. So Peter, is buying a house the worst investment? Is that investment, when somebody says that's a good investment, that couldn't be further from the truth, meaning it is a terrible investment? Come on. Clickbaiter, come on. Here's the thing. If I'm buying a house, you mentioned 3 costs. You mentioned taxes, which I don't have to pay if I'm renting. You're right. You mentioned insurance, which if I buy a house, I'm going to pay insurance. And if I rent a property, I'm going to pay insurance. So that one's taken off the table. The next one, you said taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Is maintenance really going to keep you from buying your own property? Is that enough to say this is a terrible investment because you're paying more in maintenance? And that because you're paying more in maintenance that you can't put money toward a mutual fund? Honestly, the best investment you could do is probably save up your money while you're living at home with your parents and paying 0 rent, and then saving up that money to the point where you can buy a house outright cash. You do that, then you can move into a property that you own that you still pay maintenance, taxes, and insurance, But now instead of paying the $2,500 a month you're talking about, or the $900 a month I was talking about, you're paying about $200 a month. Now that extra $700 a month that you would have been paying in rent somewhere else, you can put that toward a mutual fund. What do you think about that? Is buying a house a bad investment? No, not at all. It could be one of the best investments that you ever make. So, Mr. Peter, try again.